Hello, today I'm going to be trying something a little bit different, and instead of trying to just go by and do a chimps map for some of these easier maps where I just list out the upgrades and show you the footage of upgrading them, I'm going to be trying to make it more in-depth and tell you exactly what I'm doing. So for this map, we have haunted chimps, and I'm gonna be doing a little bit of an interesting start where I go for a reactor. So this start is pretty similar to the one that I use on Flooded Valley Chimps, where we do the reactor and destroyer for the early game. Very good combo. You can cover camos and leads just fine, and you can have a good damage output to beat round 40. So we're just doing the dart and the substart. That will beat the game easy. And then we can go for the air burst, and which allows us to pop a bunch of group balloons, so it's very good for the early game. And then I can end up pushing into a reactor and a boat. And I also chose Gwen because Gwen will work well with my big damage towers that I'm going to be getting later, which is the tack zone and flagship. So we're going to be using those towers. It's a really cool interaction on this map, so I chose to do it here. And I just ended up removing the obstacles so I could put Gwen in a better place. And I got the range and the intel for the sub, so he has a bigger range to shoot. I got cam on the dart, so the sub can see camos. And now I'm getting a boat so we can get the hot shots to make leads easier. Even though Gwen does it, I don't really like relying on Gwen to pop leads, and that's that. So also something to note, I don't use a single ability in this run as well. So if there's a hard round, sometimes like round 35 can be difficult, round 40, round 63 maybe even, you can just pop the ability and it will be much easier. So round 33 here, get the sub, we submerge it after round 33, back on first so we can get the camos down, and then we can put it back so we can make use of the air burst. And then once we are able to unlock reactor, we get it, just submerge it, and it will be doing all of the good reactor damage. And then I'm just going to get the destroyer, and that will help kill round 40. And then I'm also going to alk buff it so it can do a lot of damage. The destroyer with alk buff is very good, and if you've never tried that combo out, you definitely need to. It does a lot of damage. So this is a pretty good example of using an alternative early. Even though it may not be good as a sub-alk or ninja alk start, it will allow us to build into the towers that we want, which is flagship, really easily. So it's definitely worth using that instead of cutting like 5 or 6k on a ninja that won't even do anything later on. So this is a good example of an alternative early, and it's not going to be used very commonly because it has a very niche use for flagship starts, but that's a really good thing to keep in mind. And you can use it for maps that have like lots of water and lots of openings, so maybe Flooded Valley definitely is one, but you can also probably use the start on Spiced Islands and maybe some other maps that have good water spots. I'm going to be getting the aircraft carrier soon. Got alk buffing it, it's fine, and this should go straight into the carry flagship. As said before, I won't be using an ability, so I do recommend using abilities throughout. It will make the game much easier. There's no point in not, and this will just go straight through. So I'll see you a little later when we're going to be doing a tack replacement trick. Great, moving along. As you can see, we're only 2,000 away, and now we are here to the carry flagship, and You could probably think what I'm thinking right now. We're placing a tack shooter on the deck so it can do a lot more damage. Now, the reason why it does a lot more damage is because the tacks come out of the tack shooter in a circle, and the goal is basically to have as much tacks go into the track as possible. But when the tack shooter is over the track, like in this situation, every single tack gets used and it does a ton of damage. So after we save up and get the tack zone, what I'm going to do is get some villages next. Now, I kind of mess up the villages, which is a stupid mistake, so I'm going to tell you to do them properly. You want to get a 302 village and a 032 village, so we can get both the MIB and the primary training onto our tack shooter, and that will allow us to pop everything with it, and it will do a lot more damage because we get the primary training bonuses. So what I did, I got camo villages on both for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking, but that's just how it was. It still ended up working, but don't do that. You'll lose a lot of money, and it's not really optimal. So just keep that in mind. It will be a bit better. But after that, we're just going to want to get some support, and I end up getting stuff like the how I blew in the Shattering Shells, and with that, it will pretty much be an easy win. This tack shooter will do a lot of damage and really push us through the late game. So that's that, and I will play some music.